Batman Arkham Shadow. This is a game that got me very excited when it was first announced because I've honestly been pretty desperate for a new entry into the Arkhamverse. That being said, when I found out that it was a VR game, I can't lie, that was kind of disappointing for me. Although I don't own any of the other VR entries that have happened in the Arkhamverse, I watched enough gameplay of them to know that they didn't impress me, so I kind of expected this one to follow suit. All of that changed when I saw that first gameplay trailer. Once I saw gameplay that actually looked faithful to an Arkham game, they had me intrigued. After all, the Arkhamverse's main tagline has always been be the Batman. And what better medium to feel like you're Batman than a well made VR game? This is exactly what Arkham Shadows accomplishes. Overall, I would say this game is most similar to Arkham Asylum. This game takes place mainly in Blackgate. I found it really cool being able to go around Blackgate and explore as both Batman and an inmate. Lightly touching on the story, I thought it was very, very good. I wouldn't want to say too much about it because I found that this game actually handled the mystery of who the Rat King is extremely well, and I wouldn't want to ruin that experience for anyone. All I can really say though is unlike Arkham Knight, they actually managed to keep me guessing throughout the entire game as to who the Rat King is, and I wasn't sure who it was going to be right up until the moment that they actually revealed it. This game, being a VR game, does have some unique mechanics that don't really make an appearance in any other Arkham games. For instance, this game has a few sections where you actually end up having to climb either bricks in the wall or pipes to do challenges, puzzles, or even advance the main story. I thought this was a really cool addition and something that I'm not going to say was necessarily missing from the main Arkham games, but definitely something that was able to be taken advantage of because of this medium of VR. But this is definitely something that I'm happy was in the game because it really did help that immersive factor. There is one or two things that I find work better in VR as opposed to the main Arkham games. For instance, blade takedowns in this game I find are way easier to do as opposed to how long it took me to learn how to do blade takedowns in the main Arkham games. I really like the way that this game handles crime scene investigations. I thought it was really cool how after you're done scanning everything you need to scan, the game will actually give you 3 different options to pick from as to what you think all the clues mean. I found it was just that little extra bit that helped to make you feel like you really are in the story and making decisions. Not only that, there's plenty of sections where it asks you to pick a dialogue option. I'm almost 100% certain without going back to check that no matter what dialogue option you pick, you're going to get basically the same result. But again, even just that illusion of choice is kind of fun in a VR game. I thought the way that this game handled combat was very faithful to the main Arkham games. There's a lot of moments where I'm playing the combat and I can almost picture exactly what moves they're trying to emulate from the main Arkham games. I found it was really fun attempting to try to do quick gadget moves while doing combat. For instance, throwing a batarang at the last second to knock a guy down before he hits you. There's a few times I was able to use the explosive gel mid combat to knock out a few guys, or even just using the line launcher to disarm an enemy or pull him towards you and do a takedown like that. All those things are in the game. Cape stunning shield enemies just to run up, jump over. Combat feels exactly like the main Arkham series. You'll see a lot of the staple enemies that we've all come to love and somewhat hate in the main Arkham games. The electric baton enemies, the shield enemies, brutes that you have to stun and then beat down, as well as armed versions of these enemies as well. This game does a very good job at being faithful to what a traditional Arkham game feels like in terms of the enemies getting more difficult, combat getting a little bit more tricky as the game goes on. If anything, my only complaint with the game is that the main story didn't drag out a little bit longer just so I could have a few more fights in the main story once I had everything unlocked. That being said, I guess that's what New Game Plus is for. I touched a little bit on the story earlier, but another thing I just want to mention is that I was not expecting the story to be as fleshed out as it was. I was really expecting just like kind of a bare minimum story that would be strung together by really fun gameplay, but they actually did manage to tell a pretty compelling story in this game. I was not expecting that, and I definitely wasn't expecting all of the little side details that always show up in Arkham games, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they were absent from this one. Almost everything that you've come to love from Arkham games can be found in this game in some way, shape, or form. The only thing that's really missing from this game is a large open world Gotham City and a Batmobile. Aside from that, you're going to get a very faithful Arkham experience. Overall, I honestly could not recommend this game more. If you love VR and you love Arkham, you need to get this game. I've had so much fun, and there's still so much more fun to be had in this game. There's plenty of challenge maps, just like your traditional Arkham games, including an infinite combat and an infinite predator map to keep you coming back for more. I don't really want to give a 1 to 10 score because I find, especially when it comes to games, a 1 to 10 is almost useless, mainly because anything under a 6 is going to be considered pretty much unplayable, whereas let's say a 6 out of 10 movie would still probably be watchable. So instead, I'm just going to tell you that if you're willing to spend the money, this is absolutely worth it. You're going to get exactly what you're looking for based on anything that you've seen in any of the trailers that they've released. Thankfully, they didn't use any tricks, they didn't hide anything. During my entire first playthrough, I would say I found barely any glitches, maybe only one or two instances where I had a little bit of trouble, but I mean, what else can you expect from any video game, right? Overall, I had a ton of fun with this game. I would really hope that at some point in the future we get some sort of sequel to this. I think it would be really cool if this game could be like Arkham Asylum, and then if they ever decide to do a sequel for this, it could end up being a little bit closer to Arkham City, where we do get a bit more of a full city-like map to play in. Otherwise, I think this game was an absolute treat. I'm definitely going to keep coming back to it just for the addicting gameplay that comes from it. That being said, if you don't think you'll be able to get this game, or you just kind of want to see a bit more, definitely going to end up doing a playthrough of New Game Plus, and once I'm done that, I'll probably be uploading it here. So if you want to see that and more stuff like it, please subscribe. Anyways, that's all for me. Hope you have a good day.